massive lesson learnt today. The universe shows up for me when I show up for myself. So today was just typical of the last couple of weeks, really. Really been struggling with work. Yeah, as I mentioned in the previous video, focus and energy levels, and stress levels and all that are at an all-time low, and the longer it has dragged out for me to be able to get a work arrangement that is suitable for my current levels, the rougher every day gets. I am exhausted, I am spent, I am depleted. My mornings at the beach with Alex and Rocket are a delight. They're the highlight of my day, and then it's all sort of downhill from there. And today when I clocked onto work at 11 a.m, I have at least been successful in reducing my hours for now. When I clocked onto work at 11 a.m, it was very obvious from the get-go that I wasn't in a state to be able to do my work. Every time I'd click and try and drag a pixel around on the screen, I would get really emotionally worked up. It was laborious. It was very difficult, and I went and had a little lie down and I had to think about what I could do, because I'd literally just started, and about 10 minutes in I was already wiped out, and that wouldn't do. I decided on a whim to have a look at where my emotions were sitting on the Hawkins consciousness scale. We'll link to that below if you're unfamiliar with what that is. I decided to have a look at where I was sitting on that scale, and I figured I'd be pretty low. I was a little bit higher than I anticipated. I was somewhere just below the middle. I was down in that kind of anger, in the anger and desire region, and I was really desiring to be out of the situation that was making me angry and stressed, which was, primarily work. Home was something I also wish to be out of. There's a construction site next door that is making this no easier. But primarily it was work, because as soon as I sat down to do my work, I was just ruined. And so that's where I was sitting, and I knew that if I wanted to get anything done today, I had to get myself out of that state. I had to get myself out of that really low vibe. Yes, we're talking vibes. And this is a state that I've been in for a few weeks now. The longer this goes on, the more negative my self-talk gets, the more negative my talk in general gets, the more hopeless I feel, and I know that there is another side to this. I know that I will come out another side, and I'll be stronger for it, and I'll be wiser for it, and I'll be a more evolved version of myself on the other side of this. But when you're in it, when you're sitting in it, it's hard to remember that. And I've sort of been getting lost in the darkness of it a bit the last few weeks. Definitely been guilty of spiraling. Just one little negative thing turns into an ocean of negativity, and so unsurprisingly, things have been pretty stagnant. Nothing much is changing, and a lot of things that I've been pushing towards, that I'm really excited to get off the ground and to see some momentum gained on them. They haven't really been gaining any traction either, and it's just, it's all just been very deflating. So today I had a look at the scale, and I thought, okay, right, something needs to change. Something needs to change, otherwise, today's Tuesday, how am I going to get through the rest of the week? The emotion directly above anger is pride. I decided I was going to journal on what I was proud about in that moment. And it was tricky to get started, because a lot of my self-worth does hinge on my achievements, and I haven't been able to achieve much of anything the last few weeks. And I haven't been behaving in a way that I'm proud of to those around me a lot of the time, and my resilience, I am not thrilled with. You know, there's a lot of, again, see, I'm getting down on myself again, and this has been very typical. But, you know, what's a girl to do? So I went, what am I saying, what's a girl to do? Anyway, yes, so I had this idea that I would try and at least attempt to think of things I was proud of. And I started writing, and as these things do, once I got started, it snowballed, and I was able to find quite a few things that I was proud of, and I filled up a page in my journal, and by the time I got to the end of it, my mood was boosted a bit, significantly, to the point that I sat down and was able to start clicking around on the screen without getting completely destroyed, and things were going pretty smoothly for about all of 5 minutes when I got a message from yet another HR rep asking if I was free to chat in 15 minutes time. She'd had an idea. Well, when I spoke to her, that was my first lesson, I guess. Basically, she'd had this idea that for the rest of the week, I should just take the rest of the week off while we're sorting out what's actually happening on my work arrangements. And that was just, hallelujah. That was, I 100% needed that. Yeah, if I couldn't get through the first 10 minutes of my shift that started at 11, how on earth was I going to get through the rest of the week? And there was no like suitable tasks assigned for me for the rest of the week. My manager is not happy with this situation because he's got goals that he wants to achieve, and now I've just sort of, this has really displaced his plans and stuff, and he's sort of been unwilling or unable to cooperate on it. And yeah, I was not looking forward to the rest of the week, and I really am not in great shape mentally or physically, and so to know that I've now got the rest of the week to actually relax is a godsend. So that was the first positive thing that happened within 5 minutes of me changing my state. Second thing that happened was I checked my emails and found that I'd made my first sale through Zaya. Very exciting for me. Through one of my current closest friends, and it's a start. It's something. She bought something really, really cool, and I'm so happy for her, and I can't wait to see it on her, because I reckon she's going to look so classy. And this genuinely does excite me so much. Like, I guess I'll talk about it at length at another point, but I'm so excited to actually be selling clothes. I never thought this would be something I'd find as a calling, but I mean, I know how much I love to express myself through clothes, and I know how much confidence they can give me if I get the right ones, and how much they can just fire you up, and how much positivity they bring in. More than that, though, like the community building aspect, the fact that this is something that we all get to bond over, and then that ends up being sort of the glue that binds us together. That's pretty cool. But that's obviously a rant for another time. But I got my first taste of it today, and it's been, I've been running my first launch party for a bit over a week now. Well, I haven't really been running it. My friend Kelly's been doing most of the work. I've popped in from time to time, but honestly, I've just been too flat to partake. And I was getting a bit deflated. Like, I know they say you shouldn't expect success right out the gates, but it wasn't really going great, and so it was very exciting to see that sale come through. And that was immediately after I'd just been given the given the go-ahead to take the whole rest of the week off. And the third thing was that I managed to walk to Officeworks, our like stationery supply store around here. Walked to Officeworks to pick up a print that I had done. I made a poster of my Year of the Tiger Llama design. You can see that on Instagram. I guess I'll link that below as well. I hurt my calf really badly when we went hiking on Sunday. And I really wanted to walk and pick up this print and not have Alex drive me to do it, even though he was more than happy to. I wanted to do it because it was one of the only things that I could actually do for myself right now. Like, I am so dependent on everyone for everything right now. And it was just one of the few things that I could do independently. And it bummed me out that I wasn't going to be able to even do that. But I managed to do it. I managed to walk. And I think, honestly, it's crazy because I did this walk yesterday before I realized just how badly I'd hurt my calf. And it was excruciating by the time I got home. And I was really regretted doing that walk. But when I set out today, I think the relief of not having work for the rest of the week meant that like this whole bunch of stress had lifted, and all like my calf just suddenly was like 80% better. Certainly enough to go for a walk there and back. And so I was able to go, and I was able to pick up this poster of a design that I had done, and I came home and I hung it, and that was just a little win too. So, and there hasn't, I know those are my 3 little wins, right? I got a call out of the blue saying I could have the rest of the week off work. I made a small sale, and I walked to Officeworks and back. They're not big things, but I haven't had many wins recently. And to have all those 3 things happen in quick succession right after I'd done this little exercise of picking an emotion that was just a step above the emotion that I was in, and in a deliberate effort to try and raise my state and not to wallow in that negativity, which is so easy to do, and which I have been doing. And to have those 3 things happen in that quick succession was just such a it was a real testament, yeah, to what happens if you show up for yourself. The universe helps you out a little bit. It was the first bit of like momentum that I've felt in a couple of weeks. And that feels good. It feels good to have had some wins. It just shows me that I will keep winning. Maybe they'll be small for a little while. But, you know, they'll snowball. So, that's my life lesson learned for today. That I just need to show up for myself. And to be fair, in this state, it's hard to remember that stuff, you know? And it's hard to propel yourself forward to action to do that. And yeah, I guess today was just the day. I guess I was just fed up with it enough that I sought a solution. And so that I'm gonna keep going with that. Keep going with that tool, and be mindful of where I'm sitting on that scale. And then if I am sitting in a lower emotion or a lower vibration, then just seeing what really simple thing can I do to just get up to the next one, just the next level. Not to skyrocket all the way to enlightenment, but just get a little bit higher. And then that's enough for the moment. And then in the next moment, or the next day, go a little bit higher than that. And, I mean, none of this stuff is linear either, is it? Like, one day I might be sky high all on my own. I might just wake up feeling phenomenal. And one day I might be way, way, way down in the bottom. And that's life. That's life, but it's nice to know. It's nice to know that there's tools, and also it was really, really nice to get this reminder, because like I know this stuff. Technically I know this stuff, you know, like if you take aligned action, then you see signs of that being the right thing, or like, yeah, you get you get a helping hand. I've experienced this so many times, especially in the past few months. It's just recently I've been in the mud. So yeah, that's today's lesson. The universe shows up for me when I show up for myself. I can't just sit around and wait for things to get better. I still have to show up for myself and do good things for myself, and remind myself that I am more than whatever negative emotion I'm feeling at the time. So I repeat it once again because I think that's a good ending to the video. As per usual, I'm struggling with this. Yeah. The universe shows up for me when I show up for myself.